What up? What up? Happy Friday, everybody. We are just jumping into this weekend. This is good. We're through the first week of Wappin, the month of Wappin. So this is pretty sweet. We're gonna have Siduri on shortly, so I will get them on here. Man, but we're having some good times. So let me get Siduri up in here. Get Matt up in. Jenna, what up? How are you doing? Good to see you from far. Wendy, awesome. Always nice seeing you. What up, Matt? There we go.
What's going on, Eric? Happy
Dude,
World of Pinot. Happy Friday, man. How's it going?
yeah, man. Happy Friday. Happy World of Pinot. It's going great. It's Friday, as you know, man. It's nice to be Friday.
It's a World of Pinot Friday.
Yeah.
There are a few days as sweet as that. I'll give you
Yeah.
that.
You are correct, man. It is. I enjoy these because I gotta end my winemaking week by like just talking to winemakers and drinking wine.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
free wine at that. So it's even better. It's
Yeah,
always nice when I get a little Siduri in the mail, man. So
yeah, absolutely. Happy to help out with that. And
yeah.
happy to open and share a bottle or maybe two with you. Depending how the night
Oh,
goes. So
yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, I'm always down. We can do this for hours and just keep popping bottles. Just see what we got.
yeah, that's what World of Pinot is all about. I miss it.
Yeah. It is about a lot of winemakers drinking a lot of winemakers Pinots. I mean, that's really what it's about. So,
Exactly. I love it.
well, great to have you on here, man. And like I said, I've had the privilege to talk to a ton of winemakers. I mean, that you and I we know and we respect, and they make really really cool Pinots. But it's super cool to kind of have you guys here. With Siduri, we haven't done San Lucia Highlands, and I think when I think San Lucia Highlands, which is it's crazy because I know you're not located there, but I think Pizzoni and I think Siduri, frankly, because Adam is always in the mix, from back in the I guess early 2000s when that region was just like firing, and we'll get into that wine and whatnot, but I think it's just super super cool to bring in here another region that we're tasting, and I
Yeah.
mean let's just dive in, dude. What
Let's do
is
it.
Siduri? Who is Siduri? What are we talking about here?
Who is Siduri? All right.
Yeah.
So Adam Lee, founding winemaker, and his wife, Diana Lee, moved out from Texas in the mid 90s with this, aspiration to make wine. So Adam moved out first, found a gig in a tasting room, and eventually basically got Diana out here. They pooled their money together, 20,000 bucks or so to basically buy, an acre and change worth of grapes in the Anderson Valley. So up in Mendocino County, kind of cool climate, big diurnal swings, with the agreement that they would do all of the canopy work and harvesting themselves, which is a shitload of work.
Yeah, it's actually
So,
way more work than you would ever expect. Yeah.
yeah. So this is back in 94. They didn't really have a commercial license to produce wines. They made it at a friend's winery, didn't pay any custom crush fees because of the relationship and friendship that they had there. So they wound up with about 5 barrels worth of Pinot. So the story goes, 94 was a pretty good vintage, and the wine more or less made itself. So Adam and Diana thought the wine's pretty good, and they, introduced it to friends. They thought, yeah, this is pretty good, but it's your friends, so you don't really know if they're telling you the truth or if they're just trying to get you, whatever.
Yeah.
So they end up having a pretty boozy dinner, and they find out that influential wine critic Robert Parker is staying at the Meadowood, which is right around the corner. So they worked up the gumption to go back, pull a barrel sample, leave it at the concierge for Mr. Parker with a brief note, and they go to sleep that night. And they have one of those mornings.
I like that, by the way. I like that. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna like here. I gotta drop this off. A little note.
Totally casual. Yeah. So they have one of those mornings where they wake up and they're like, "Oh my God, did we do that?"
Yeah.
So
Blacked out. Yeah.
yeah. So Adam calls the concierge, And the concierge was like, yeah, he's like, Mr. Parker left and he took the bottle, like you said, blah, blah. And Adam was like, oh, no. A few months later, review comes out. They say the wine's outstanding. So Adam's like, cool, we're going to make a go of this. They sold enough of those barrels and enough wine out of those 5 barrels and enough on futures to kind of make a real commercial go at it in 95. And that's when they found out, a friend had a vineyard in Willamette Valley in Oregon. And that's kind of how the Siduri scope really started. It wasn't really that we had, Adam and Diana had vineyard connections in their backyards that, we have a friend of a friend, or we know a guy in Willamette Valley, we know somebody in Santa Lucia.
Was that Shea Vineyard though? Is that Shea Vineyard?
It was, they sourced from Shea early on, back in the late 90s. I don't remember specifically it was Shea.
Gotcha.
But yeah, we made Shea, we made Archery Summit back in the late 90s. So
I remember that, man. I remember drinking those wines. So yeah.
Yeah. So really, Siduri started out with the whole idea being, Adam and Diana were not wine professionals per se. Adam sold some wine. He will be the first to admit he was not tremendously talented at it. As a rep, he'd go visit a couple accounts and then drink half the bottles and pretty much be done by 2 p.m. So
dude, that's a great market job, dude. I love being done by 2 and being able to drink the rest of the wine. So whatever, But.
Yeah, but eventually, fast forward 20 or so years, we've got 40 different SKUs across 7 AVAs. We've got in any given year 18 to 30 different vineyard designate bottling. So it's all this huge labor of love, and basically. The whole idea is that, a lot of our favorite areas are where Pinot Noir vineyards are. So how do we transport people to those places? Well, we have a lot of fun making wine. And the best way we know how to translate those places is to make wine and share it with people. And that's what we're doing these days.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. And, I've had the privilege to hang out with Adam, I'd say many times throughout the years. I mean, shit, it's been in the industry for a little while, and so I like him. Diana's awesome, and I love her new her Bubbles project and all sorts of things. And it is so cool what Siduri does, in the fact that, I mean, like I said, Oregon. I mean, I guess it'd be Oregon all the way to Santa Rita Hills. Would that be probably the scope, right?
Exactly.
Pay, right? It would be the base, yeah. And I mean, again, early 2000s when I was really drinking it, and that's when you would say, right, Siduri was like rising,
Oh yeah.
And I think I went there on my 21st birthday, which I won't say when that was, but it's, dude, it's always been so cool to I looked up to Adam and just the label, being able to work with so many like just really kick-ass vineyards. It's amazing. And I remember him and Brian Loring were buddies. I mean, I'm sure still buddies, but back in the day, they had a little thing going on. But I mean, yeah, how cool is that for you to be able to work with all these crazy, awesome vineyards from Santa Rita Hills to Willamette? I mean, that's insane.
No, that's the dream, really. And as well as I do, it's like, it's really cool to really know one area really intimately, but it's so much fun to explore not only drinking wines from all up and down the West Coast, but getting a chance to get your boots on the ground and be hands-on and make wines from that huge scope of areas is amazing. And, Adam blazed a really awesome trail for me that he's now handed off, and he's become one of my very good friends. We have a whole lot in common. We drink a lot of really good wine together, talk about wine, pretty much nonstop. And it's just been an awesome, friendship that's really blossomed between us. And, he's felt totally comfortable kind of handing the reins to me. And, I'm absolutely thrilled to be able to do this. It's amazing.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. And that's actually a perfect segue. When did you take the reins? Like when,
Yeah. So Adam brought me on in May of 2019. So it was one of those things. I heard he was looking around for somebody, and I was like, man, that'd be cool. I've heard a lot about Adam. I feel like we would hit it off. Yeah. So we sat down and we just, we start talking about wine. And, you know, the conversation goes on and on and on, like an hour and a half. And I walked out. I was like, he didn't even ask, like, did I just totally blow that, or did it go really, really well?
Right.
It's like, I don't know. You know, I mean, I was, you know, making Pinot Noir and Chardonnay in Sonoma County and having a lot of fun. And, you know, Adam and I hit it off, and the conversation just kept going. And he's like, yeah, I want this to be yours now. He's like, you're the guy. So that's been awesome.
Right.
You know, Adam and I kind of share this common ground of it. You know, he came out to California from Texas. I came out to California from Kentucky, which ironically is the first place I started working in vineyards during the summers going to college.
Right.
Yeah. So I graduated with a philosophy degree in the middle of the recession. And, you know, there's a lot of stories about people that are wildly successful in these other careers that come to winemaking, you know, as a passion. Which, you know, I came to winemaking as a passion, but I didn't give up much, you know, in the meantime with the philosophy degree in the recession. It's like, cool, I'll take a flyer on a job, an internship at Williams-Sonoma in 08, moved to California, just kind of get my feet wet. And I moved out here and I was like, man, this is heaven.
This is actually pretty sweet, right?
Yeah. So I managed to kind of bootstrap it along and kind of, you know, daisy chain jobs together just to kind of make it work. So found my way to Costa Brown and a couple other gigs, and, you know, just been making wine and being happy since 08. So, you know, nothing better and no finer place to do it than Siduri as well.
No, that's awesome. And for people that haven't met Adam Lee, he is highly intelligent. He is a very, very, very smart man. He's a very good storyteller as well. And, you know, he makes good wine, you know, he was making really good wine from Siduri. He's got his other things going. We won't go into that, but, you know, I always thought that he was a different cat, you know, in the industry. I remember when I was 21, I started working at Tally. I think maybe I was a enologist, I guess. Yeah. I remember him just when he would show up to like tech tastings, he had like Jordans on and like a run DRC shirt on, and I was like, who the fuck is this guy? and you know, I was just like, man, I want to be like that guy, dude. He doesn't care, like, you know. And he doesn't care. He always, every time I see him, I'm like, what are you wearing? You know, like he at pourings and things. Like usually I hang out with him at the Pinot Fest in San Francisco. That is now done. That was at Farallon, right? You know. Yeah. You know, have some bubbles, you know, down below, you know.
Of course.
You're very well aware of the good times. And so, you know, and I think that really translated to this brand. And it's awesome to see that you've taken the reins and kind of what you've done. So 19's your first vintage as being the dude, right?
The dude, yeah. Okay. So Adam and I kind of co-made the 19s, which was kind of cool because, well, you know, it was new vineyards for me, but, you know, I was in a position where it's like, I'm not a total greenhorn, so I kind of know what I'm doing. But, you know, getting a chance to make good wines from some of your favorite vineyards with one of your best friends, that's a really cool opportunity. So it's like, you know, where you kind of made the 19s together, and that was a hell of a lot of fun. It was a good vintage, too. I'm kind of struck by the power and concentration of the 19s kind of snuck up on us. You know, during the vintage, it didn't really seem like we had, you know, the weight and the texture and the unctuousness. But, man, I really dig the 19s, and it was so much fun making those with Adam. So, 19 was my first foray as the guy. So, it was a hell of a good time.
Well, I mean, I don't want to dive in too much, but how is 20 for you? I'm sure certain vineyards were great. Certain vineyards you're like, what am I doing? You know?
Certain vineyards were fantastic. Certain vineyards were forgettable, I will say. It was challenging for sure. You know, it was a very dynamic harvest season for all sorts of different reasons. But I mean, there's pockets that are just absolutely killer, and, you know, it's challenging. You know, volumes across the board, you know, they're going to be down, and that's just kind of the state of the West Coast wine industry right now.
Yeah, I mean, 20 was absolutely insane, and you know, for you guys up north, it was even more insane than it was for us down here. That's for sure. And I mean, you know, it's one of those vintages like I just need to survive, like just get through it. And talking to, you know, now talking to you, but talking to all my friends up there near you, it's just,
Yeah.
I hope the best for you guys. I mean, you're a killer winemaker, and I think you guys will. You guys are fine. You'll figure it out. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah. But
So,
you know what's really cool? It's just talking about normal growing season problems. Like, oh man, I wish we would get more rain. You know,
yeah,
or it's like, I wish bud break wasn't going to be so thin. Or just like, but like normal things.
yeah.
Not
I would take
COVID,
a
not
drought over
fires.
fire and
Yeah,
crazy, multiple over 100-degree, weeks,
exactly.
all day long. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Well, let's go into a vintage that's pretty interesting. You were kind enough to send over a little 18
Of course.
Siduri Gary's Vineyard. 18 for us was a very, very long season.
Oh yeah.
School just kind of dragged and dragged and dragged and dragged, especially Chardonnay. But what's your thoughts on this wine?
18 was awesome. So, I was talking about this with Adam too. He's like, yeah, there are 4 great vintages in my lifetime as a winemaker, and 18 was one of them in the past 25 years, especially on the heels of 17. So 17, we had all of those heat spikes, the lulls, the heat spikes, then the Labor Day one that, just was basically the heat spell of doom for all of us. 18 was so mild and even. And we had the string of all of these perfect, beautiful, kind of mid-80-degree growing days in August, September, kind of stretching into October. And we were kind of looking around at each other, just kind of waiting for some kind of weather event to happen, whether it be rain, heat, whatever. And it was one of those vintages where we got really awesome hang time that you were mentioning, but we got really, really soft tannins, and we got really fresh acids too. And it was one of those vintages where we had tons of space in the winery because we could space things out. If the crew couldn't get to a section on Tuesday, but they could get to it on Friday, you really didn't lose anything in the vineyard. So it was just an awesome, awesome vintage. And I think these wines are going to age really, really nicely. And they're going to age well on acid, especially the Santa Lucia Highlands wines, which are really known for that kind of trademark zippy, fresh acidity.
Yeah. I mean, I opened this wine when I got it today.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, naturally, that's what you do when you get wine shipments. But I was at Tally, and I like to open these wines and taste with my crew, and I mean, I love wine education, for myself, for everybody else, and shit. We get humbled all the time by wine. It's you think you know shit, you don't know anything, kind of a thing.
No.
And so it's fun. So we opened this. We went through this wine. I guess drank half the bottle at work. And it's such an interesting wine. I mean, I think you see the difference. Would you say that Santa Lucia Highland? I mean, I always think more dark fruits, but fresh, like that energy. You still get that energy in there, which there's not a lot of spots that you're getting that dark fruit component, the dark berry component with that kind of great acid.
And that's exactly right. And I think, that's attributed to the hang time you can get and the climatic factors that really influence that. You can get a long hang time, you can get dark fruit, but the acid holds so well and is so crisp. Basically, a lot of picking decisions are like, well, the flavors are really good. They're probably going to get better, but we need for the acids to drop a little bit so the wine will actually make it through malolactic fermentation. Because the way the Santa Lucia Highlands is set up, it's this really beautiful little 18-mile sliver on the west side of Salinas Valley, really beautiful, kind of sandy, gravelly soils. But as the southern end of the Salinas Valley starts to warm up, it draws in some really intense, cool breezes from the Monterey Bay. So it's pretty common for the hottest daytime temperature to be at like 1 or 2 in the afternoon, which is really unusual for a lot of growing areas on the coast. And that's because, by 4 o'clock, that wind is whipping through. And the water in the Monterey Bay is really, really deep, and it is really, really cold.
It's cold.
So those breezes are fresh. And I feel like that translates into some really awesome freshness in the wines that you were speaking of. So yes, dark fruit, but really awesome kind of crunchy dark fruit. not this like dried kind of boring kind of dead, as far as acid structure goes, kind of wines. Crisp, crunchy, and really kind of beautiful perfumed wines.
Yeah. Yeah. And for those of you guys that don't know out there, I mean, I was kind of talking to my staff about like, what are the, that I don't even want to say a hierarchy, but like the famous vineyards in San Lucia Highlands. I mean, Gary's, Rosella's, Pizzoni are like, that would be the Grand Cru, right? Wouldn't you say that?
Yeah, I completely agree. I adore those vineyards. Excellent site selection, but also, I'd be remiss to leave out the incredible farming job of the Pisoni and Francione families.
Totally.
I mean, we're talking multi-generational focused farming. And just, my first foray into the St. Lucia Highlands, I was an internship in 2010. And we were lucky enough to source fruit from Gary's and Rosella's. And it was, you're running the sorting table. You have your crew of 6 sorters sorting out leaves and like botrytis and rot, raisin, stuff like that. Yeah. We get this fruit from San Lucia Highlands, and these grape boxes are perfect.
Yeah.
So I'm like dumping these boxes onto the table, and like everybody's just kind of sitting around looking at each other, like, well, what do we do? It's like, dude, you guys are gonna get me in trouble because nobody looks like they're working. So it's like
pretend just like you're pulling clusters,
Yeah, but like the fruit is perfect, and like that's just the job that these guys do farming. Like I really can't say enough. I remember I was down at Gary's last growing season, and I was talking to Mark Pisoni. I was like, yeah, it's like if we could get like a decongestion pass, what clusters are touching each other, if we could get a drop sometime over the next few days, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And so not only do they do the fruit drop, they do it the next hour. And then he sends me pictures of like the canopy. I was like, man, you can't ask for anything better.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and from, one of the best vineyards in California, I mean, that's awesome. I mean, I've loved the Pizzoni family has always been super awesome. Obviously Mark, but why am I blanking on his brother? Jeff, yeah. Jeff. I love Jeff so much. I think Jeff's like he's quiet. He's just I love Jeff's been amazing. And then obviously the Lion, he's the man. Daddy Pizzoni's the man. So super cool. I mean, but Gary's Vineyard, Gary Francione, this is it. I mean, this was the vineyard. I mean, it still is, but you know what I mean. But I don't know how to even talk about how big this vineyard was in early 2000s. I have a feeling you and I are about the same age. I don't know how old you are, but
the gray air that I don't know how you fend off the gray.
I die all this,
Yeah, so I'm 35.
36. I'm gonna be 37 soon.
All right, I'm actually a year younger than you. Amazing.
Hey, my beard is gray as hell, as you can see, man.
Well
my
done.
hair's not gray, and I don't know why.
Well done. Yeah, I mean, the Gary's Vineyard, like, this is one of the few vineyards where there's, like, pressure to make something really, really good.
Right.
The farming is going to be impeccable.
Totally.
The fruit's awesome. This bottling is 100% Pisoni selection, which is a really interesting kind of, I would say, suitcase clone that Gary essentially stuck cuttings down his pants while on a tour through Burgundy.
I think we've all heard stories. Go into the wine, actually, and what is this wine? So I think that's perfect. Go vineyard to how this wine was made, because
here we go. So 18, I mean, long hang times. We picked this basically end of September into kind of early October. It is 100% Pisoni selection. So we get kind of a lower section in the vineyard and an upper section. What really strikes me about this wine is it kind of has this like full spectrum of red, blue, and black fruits, and it's all crunchy. I don't think the 2018s really had any of those dried fruit characters that you would get in warm vintages, whether it be through heat spikes, lack of water, whatever. And really kind of crisp acid. The acid just sings in this wine. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. No, it's really cool, and I like that I think that that the whole cluster that you do is like what 25%, right?
Yeah,
On this
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah, I mean it works with it. It makes total sense.
yeah.
I guess
It
from
gives
my
it,
perspective, you know.
yeah, and it gives it a little lift. I mean, Santa Lucia wines, I think in general, are more driven by acid than tannin. I mean, you're not going to have a ton of tannic monsters coming out of Santa Lucia Highlands, but you will have really crisp acid.
Yeah.
And one way to kind of give the aromatics just a little bit of lift and give the wines a little bit more tannin is to just incorporate a little bit of whole cluster. So it
Yeah.
really has a way of incorporating this really awesome kind of fine grain tannin. It'll also raise the pH just a little bit to kind of smooth things out and kind of give everything a nice supple harmony in the wines.
Yeah, I mean, I think it adds some bones to it, you know, and I think that works out so nicely. I enjoy it immensely. I guess, you know, we're only supposed to be on here for like 30 minutes, so we don't have that much time. But like, you've been to World of Pinot Noir, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. Tell me about World of Pinot Noir for you, dude.
Man,
Like,
World of Pinot Noir is it's like the coolest family reunion, but it's only the family that you really want to see and the family that gets along well when they all drink together.
yeah.
And, you know, it's an incredible opportunity to hang out with all my friends I haven't seen in way too long, drink a bunch of really cool wines, and really nerd out with your kind of core Pinot Noir nerds. And
Totally.
I absolutely love that. That is a part of me that is very near and dear. And, you know, I miss being there physically, but, you know, World of Pinot Noir is like, it's a state of mind. I mean, you know, Eric.
Yeah, it is. It's a state of mind, and it's funny because I 100% agree with everything you're saying. Every winemaker I talk to is just like same thing. It's like a reunion, you know. I'm hanging out. I see these people that I haven't seen in a while, and then I get to drink all this cool wine. But then you have the consumer. They're dedicated Pinot people. I mean, they live, breathe. It's not something like, what's a Pinot Noir? No, they're like, where is it from? What's the deal? You know, they want to know everything about it, and yeah, I dig that kind of aspect.
Absolutely. It's a very discerning customer too. And I really like that because we make so many different wines, and in any given tasting, I like having people say, I like this wine, but I don't like this wine that you made.
Yeah.
And that's cool because they're different. And that's the entire point of us making them. And that validates our entire existence being in those vineyards. And I love having real feedback like that and sharing wines with people that really, really care and really love Pinot Noir.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you know, I think I make like I do 6 Pinots, so I'm not even close to your level. But I like that people are like, I don't like this one. I like this one. It's like, perfect. That's great. Because you're figuring out, it's your taste buds. Like, whatever. I don't care if you like it or not. Like, it's not about that. It's about figuring out your own thing, you know? And if you like that, that's cool. It's just like food, you know? Certain people like food, some people like it is what it is. Like, it's all cool. It's not, I'm not going to hate on you. And I think what the World of Pinot Noir offers, and especially with a producer like you, where you have this great spectrum of Pinot Noirs for people to go through. It's really educating them to figuring out what they actually like. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And that's like my favorite part, honestly. And especially, you know, even across different varietals. Like people will be like, you know, I like Cab and Merlot, but I don't like Pinot. It's like, well, have you tried and just like think of a huge structured Pinot? It's like, I know you say that you don't like it, but you probably do. And I bet I can show you a Pinot Noir that you're absolutely going to love. So it's about kind of breaking those kind of, you know, perceptions that you can kind of have in your own mind about what Pinot Noir can or should be. And like, you know, the exchange of ideas and really cool wines at World of Pinot Noir is like, it's a really, really special place, and it's a special event.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny. This has nothing to do with Pinot Noir, but wine. I mean, I deal with that a lot. You know, Chardonnay. You know, people are like, I don't like Chardonnay. Okay, do you want to try? You know, I mean, it's an interesting thing to to get people, because, you know, I mean, people's memories are all based in context of their life, and, you know, you got to open them up and be like, well, guess what? There's more than X brand out there, and you can expand your mind a little bit and your palate. So I think that's what your brand does. Frankly, I think it's super cool. I'm jealous of all the vineyards you get to play with, because you know, it's like tasting a lot of wines, which you mentioned, but it's making the wines as well. I think it's super cool. So hats off to you, because you're a killer winemaker, and the winery you're at is I mean, awesome. You know,
Yeah, you gotta send me some of your bottles sometime. What's up?
we'll trade, man. We're on each. I think we have each other's emails now, so we'll do a little swapperoo, so we can get into this. We love that. So happy World of Pinot Noir month to you, man. I wish we were in person. I know I need to pour some more. Oh no.
I forgot my spit bucket. Oh no.
Oh yeah. Well, whatever. Whoops. It is what it is, man. Yeah. But, good seeing you, and cheers, dude.
Cheers, Eric. Happy World of Pinot.
Happy World of Pinot. Everybody, have a good World of Pinot Noir, and I'll see you next Friday, everyone. Matt, I'll email you, and let's get some wine.
Excellent, brother. Cheers. Right. Have a good weekend.
Have a good, you too, man. See ya.